We all know drivers have come a long way in the last 20 years, but today we are putting to the test my first ever driver, the Ping G2, against the current Ping driver. So the 430 10K Max is the latest driver, is the greatest driver on there, but how are they going to compete? Is this G2 still going to get out there to the same kind of distances? Again, it's all about price point. It's all about what you're thinking when you're buying a new driver. If you're in the market for a new driver in 2024, should you be thinking second hand, should you be thinking brand new, or should you be waiting maybe for January when we know there might be a few new drivers on the market? So back in the day, we know that this Ping G2, I think in 2006, was a big change in the driver market. So a lot of things here did change. It's very interesting at that time that they was trying to stay away from carbon. We know in the latest Ping driver, we've got the carbon top. In a lot of the latest drivers from other brands, a lot of carbon in there to start to change or move weights around to get forgiveness. And this is probably the biggest thing we're talking about, because in the reviews that I'll put on screen now, they did say this is incredibly forgiving. They also said it was a huge head, but we'll compare that shortly, because now I don't think that maybe is the case, but back then it might have been bigger than the current ones on the market. Alignment aid on here, a big talking point, which is very interesting because Ping have always stayed there, so we know what is on the Pings at the moment. And we know you're all screaming the turbulators that some either like or some absolutely hate, and that might be why you don't have a Ping driver. But there's a couple of things that have also changed, not only the size and shape of the head, the forgiveness has changed, but also one other thing as the head cover keeps rolling. And straight away, up that right hand side, just drawing back, that'll stay inside the tree line, but sound there straight away is something that has changed over those years. But we know even with the latest models, Ping's always got that sound that maybe is a little bit different. So when you're thinking about buying Ping, a lot of people think you don't like the sound, you don't like the turbulators, or you love the sound because it's more traditional, and you love those turbulators on the top because it maybe lets you get that golf ball in the middle of the driver a little bit better. But one thing that has also changed is shaft length. So this shaft length is around about an inch shorter. So back in the day, maybe we were trying to get a little bit more distance. We know that G2 isn't as forgiving, it's not as got as much technology. It was jam-packed full of technology back in the day, but not so much now. And straight away behind the golf ball, a total different look. What does the sound do? Similar ball flight. And a very similar sound, so not much change there in the sound for me. Very similar sounding. Again, performance-wise, that was off the toe, so it'd be very interesting up there, both just inside that tree line up the right-hand side. Be interesting to see how far they've gone. So inside, we will start with that G2. So outside you saw that, again, struggled a little bit with it for consistency, and I do believe, obviously, that is down to it having that longer shaft again. Obviously, shafts have got a little bit shorter. Heads have got bigger, okay, or they look bigger behind the ball. Again, I like the alignment aid on here. The turbulators, I'm sure there'll be plenty of people in the comments, you either love them or hate them. It's very much, there isn't much in between. You don't just get that driver because you like the performance potentially. I see more people maybe not have the Ping drivers now just because they don't like the look behind the golf ball. Again, we know that in the times of the G2, they were trying to stay away from carbon. But there's been a total shift in that technology, in that forgiveness. Good swing there, 270 carry, running out to 294. So straight away there, we can see that it can still perform. 1,800 spin, which for me is ridiculously good. If anybody watches a child, they know I normally struggle with too much spin. But a good strike there, nice and solid there. I certainly have to feel like I'm more controlling the swing with this club. You can certainly hear a different sound there, to say the least. So, poor strike there, but a miss hit. Still going 270, going 250. I'd expect to see that from, you know, a modern day driver start to lose 20 yards. I would expect to see that. But there'll be plenty of you commenting about the sound, especially in here. See, that one has spun up to 4,000, and I've quickly lost even a lot of distance, although it's straight down the middle. So dispersion wise, right to left's not been too bad, but for me, I do really feel like I'm having to try and control this. I don't feel like I could really swing at one like I could with the Ping G430 10K Max. So there I've had a go at that one. 260 carry going 271, but you can see front to back dispersion certainly struggling. Now, total different look behind the ball. This just fills you with confidence. Obviously, yes, we know it's 20 years old pretty much now, but you can see straight away, big head behind the golf ball. Yes, turbulators, you can either take them or leave them. Still a loud sound from there. Ping's always notoriously had a louder sound, not as loud outside, but they're a spinny one, a poor swing, 4,300 spin, and interesting, although you might say it's excellent, that's a high spin one. You can see even with a bad swing, you can lose as much distance with your modern day driver. Better swing there. A better strike, let's see, 277 carry, will it get to 300? Just. So you see there, maybe 5 yards further than that G2, a better strike, 1600 spin, but a little bit of a higher trajectory. And I don't feel like I'm having to guide this one. Let's see what that one does. 260 going 270, slight miss it out to the right, but still going 280. So this is where you've got to think, obviously, when we're buying either of these two clubs, there is a big price difference. We're looking at nearly £600, one of the most expensive drivers on the range here in the 10K driver. We've got all that technology in it, £51 for the G2. I did lose a little bit more front to back, but it all depends on your price point. One's from the second-hand golf clubs for cash. This one, brand new and fitted here at Waterfront Golf. Again, spinning a little bit more on me there. Let's see what that one does. 260 going 275. So even the missed hits are going ever so slightly further. Obviously, not the best swinging day today. Dispersion, if anything, maybe a little bit worse. Again, there a better strike. Similar dispersion, a little bit off. Again, that's more me than the club. 263 carry, going 285. So certainly a little bit more consistent, but let's hit a couple more out on the golf course. Now you'll see there, Ping have always been at the cutting edge of club design, and for me, you can see right there, technology in these drivers have been the best on the market at the time. Certainly with the sound, certainly with the feel, and certainly with performance in what their drivers have done over the years. For me there, you can see for £51 or $51.99 from golf clubs for cash, this G2 certainly could get out there, but front to back dispersion, I wasn't as consistent, and we know a talking point is that driver's a little bit longer. We know that drivers have got shorter, so you can find the middle of the face more often, but at £500 cheaper than the latest driver, is it something that you would look at? You could go something newer. This is from 2006. You might go back to 2015 and find a driver from there that could still perform. But guys, what other drivers do you want to see us test on the channel? I just want to hit one more down the 9th hole. So one more down here to go down memory lane. Nice high draw there. Not one that we saw inside, but that's down there, a long way down there. Pretty good strike. Maybe not as far as that G430 10K Max, but something certainly for you to think about.